All right, Kiss Army, welcome to the KissFAQ Podcast. Thank you for giving us your time today and letting us into your head. I hope we don't do any damage. This is a Kiss-related podcast by the board, for the board. We hope that you enjoy. Welcome to episode 406 of the KissFAQ Podcast. I'm your host, Julian Gill. Today it's Marcus Almighty Mark.
Greetings.
Welcome back, as always, and the voice of reason, 69 Blizzard. The other guys are doing life. Life comes first, as always, before we get to hang out with our friends and talk Kiss. We're going to do some random topics at the end of this episode, but we're lagging a bit on talking about a really cool, I'm going to call it a Kiss-style tribute album. It's Klassic 78's second CD release. Back in 2017, they released 2 EPs digitally, Side 1, and the follow-up, appropriately, called Side 2, which they then packaged up the following year as a CDR. And nice touch, guys, on that one. It came with a sticker and a tattoo. Very kissy. And what they, I guess, kind of do is they're semi-anonymous, though most people know who they are, group of fans who record music in the style of what a Kiss album might have sounded like in 1978, hence the name Klassic 78. And you know what? I think it's a really super fun concept and idea to just try and write something in the style of that music. So we've had, a week or so, this album on repeat. Yeah, I'd like to just, get your guys' thoughts on, overall thoughts at least, on the album and whether you're familiar with Klassic 78 prior. Mark?
Yeah, I was familiar with this outfit. I was a fan of the Side 1 and Side 2 bit when they released it. I enjoyed it very much. And I really liked this album. I had it in the car, and every day I listened to it at least twice fully. Like when I did some driving around and doing errands and stuff, I was listening to it, and it really, I'm not going to say it grew on me because I kind of took to it right away, but I just seemed to like it more and more the more I listened to it. And it taught me a very interesting lesson, that the way to make a record like that, like, when people say, how do you make a Kiss record that sounds like that? It seems like their formula is pretty simple. Take certain parts of popular Kiss songs, like a certain drum pattern, and just do a different chord progression over it, and just take lyrics that are very similar in whether Gene style or Paul style, and there you go. Because if you can pick out so many Kiss songs within these songs, whether it's melodies, whether it's ideas, whether it's guitar parts, whether it's drum parts. Some of them are so blatantly obvious. I'm curious to hear what your guys' thoughts are, because I wanted to see if you guys picked up on some of these things as much as I did.
Yeah, I think that's completely accurate. I agree with you. One of the things I noticed going into this, and I put this album on repeat and just went with it. And then when I started doing my prep for the show, I listened to the first ones over again just to see how much, kind of progression there had been from the first attempt into this. And this is a quantum leap in terms of execution, writing, performance, all across the board from the first one. And I call it the first one simply because I've got the unoriginals, and I didn't get the EPs when they were individual, so some people may still refer to them as Side 1 and Side 2 for the separate material on each of those. So I listened to this a lot more than I thought I was going to, and I found myself going back to it quite a bit because it's so catchy in parts, and it's going to be fun to talk about the individual songs when we do our rankings. Ken, what's your overview thoughts on Klassic 78?
Yeah, it's the main thing about it is everything sounds like Kiss, or something that Kiss may have left on the in the demo form, or just didn't make an album. It's like an album, it's like a song that this could have maybe made one of those Rock and Roll Over album or Love Gun or whatever in sound, and you hear all these different Kiss-isms, I guess you would say, throughout. It's like, wait, that sounds like this, and it sounds like it's coming from left and right. It's always something come and like, oh yeah, what's, thinking, what song is that from? You kind of has that feel, or and so on. So, but the most I got out of it is it's just fun, and the other thing about it is it's Kiss, and you know what? It make me just think back about Kiss music is not easy to imitate, really. And Kiss back then, they had their own style and sound. They didn't sound like anybody else. Kiss had their own style, and then nobody, again, and vice versa, no one sounded like Kiss. They were kind of their own little sound. I think it may be due to, like, Mark was saying about starting with the drumming. It could have been, the Peters, jazz, influence and that sort of thing, is the starting point of it all. And but yeah, it's just fun, and it's anything that sounds like Kiss is, it works for me.
Yeah, and Ace's unorthodox guitar playing.
True.
Gene's voice, which I'll be mentioning in a few places on some of these songs. It really is. But I like Mark's, idea that, you jam a Kiss song. You take a riff and you just start playing with it, just like Gene did with the Stones' Bitch. I do that with Kiss songs, mainly because I'm just not a good enough guitarist to really get through all the songs, just, other than stuff like Rip It Out or Lover All I Can. Those I got no problem playing the rhythm tracks all the way through. But, other stuff I'll learn a riff, and then I just start, fiddling with it and twisting it and going off in my own way and, making my own music. That's what I do with a guitar for kicks. I don't, really play other people's music. I take other people's music and turn it into my music that no one ever gets to hear, except for the neighbors. So what we're doing with these songs is just putting it through the ranking machine. We've got to form them into an order to discuss, so each one of us have ranked them from the most kissy to the least kissy, and that is, of course, favorite to least favorite. And there really are no bad songs, but something has to come at the tail end. There are songs that I guess we prefer over others. So let's jump in. In last place, just garnering 4 points, and so that makes it a pretty universal least favorite song, is Queen of Hearts. So Ken, let's start with you on your thoughts on that one.
Yeah, Queen of Hearts, it's one of the couple that were the least Kiss sounding to me. Is that the one that was that's like, is that the Ace one?
No, that's
the no, that's not the Ace one. That's the Paul one. Sorry, I'm getting it mixed up. I listen to this too much. Yeah, the Queen of Hearts. Yeah, it sounds like a kind of like a Paul song, but I think the riff structure of it doesn't sound like something that Paul was writing maybe as much like that in the 70s. So it's a good song, but it sounds more like something maybe would fit on his solo album versus maybe like Rock and Roll Over or Love Gun. But yeah, it's not quite as kissy as the other ones. It still has the Paul isms in the vocals and stuff, but it's not as full force Kiss like some of the other ones.
Not kissy enough.
Not kissy.
Mark, what about you?
Yeah, it was. Look, I'm not going to say it was my least favorite. I mean, I think all the songs are pretty catchy, but in this, sort of ranking thing, again, there's got to be a bottom of the ranking. It doesn't mean it's a bad song, but I think that it's very polished vocally. It's just some of the things within the song structure I find are maybe not as Kiss-centric as they were in the 70s. I think Ken might be right. It might be a little bit more solo album-ish thought out. But the thing that I love about it though is how they kind of take these little words and stuff like that people remember and insert it, like the Queen of Hearts. The first thing I thought of was Queen for a Day, right? Yeah. That missing Kiss song. And right when I saw it, I'm like, is that supposed to be some sort of an offshoot or a tribute to that missing song? Is this their idea of what that song would have sounded like? They have those kind of little hints and Easter eggs all through this album. You know, these kind of little nods to certain things. That's what I think that was sort of directed towards. But you know, it's a good song, but it's just not. It's not the strongest Paul song on this record by a long shot.
Yeah, and I'm going to echo those. You know, my notes are pretty straightforward. It's a decent song, well written and executed, but just doesn't register with me. Sorry. Yeah. It's a bit meh, and I can't really pinpoint why. So, strictly because other songs jump out at more, it went at the bottom of my list. Yeah. Let's move on into the other clear least favorite, was Walk That Way. Mark, go straight back to you for that one.
Did you say Walk That Way?
Yeah, he said Walk That Way. It's Walk That Walk.
Sorry, Aerosmith on the brain.
Come on now.
Yeah, well, Walk That Walk I thought was interesting because while I thought I would have maybe liked it more than I did, mainly because it's one of the rare instances where they did the back and forth vocal between the Gene and the Paul. And that's usually something that Kiss fans complain about in abundance, that there's not enough of that in the Kiss catalog. So I thought that I would instantly like this more because of it. But I found that, to me, what I didn't like about it is I found this song was a little too oversimplistic musically for me. And I thought that lyrically it was a little, I don't want to use the word tacky, but it wasn't their strongest example of Kiss lyric writing. You know, like, you know, the whole Walking That Walk thing is like a direct kind of, you know, sister song to Strutter almost. You know what I mean? When they start talking about the way a girl walks and stuff like that. I mean, that's what Paul talked about in the first record, you know? So, but again, it's not a bad song. And I love the idea that they're doing a back and forth between the Gene and Paul thing. I really think that, you know, if Kiss takes anything away from this recording, it should be the fact that they should do more of that in their own writing if they ever do another album, which they won't. But
yeah, one can live in hope. It's such a small word, such a big concept. Yeah, I actually like this more than both of you guys, but to me it has way more of an AC/DC-ish vibe, like, you know, mid-70s AC/DC. In Australia anyway, even though they weren't around in the rest of the world at that point. I think it's really good. I love the solo on it. And, you know, again, I say that, you know, the second half of this album really, you know, is strong for my taste. Ken?
Yeah, I'm with, well, kind of both of you guys. Yeah, the Gene things, you know, singing the verses and then the Paul going into the chorus kind of thing, which is cool. It's a nice, you know, touch. But yeah, the rhythm of it doesn't sound like anything of Kiss really would maybe, I don't know, I don't want to say right, but yeah, it was kind of simplistic, like Mark said. Though your point about the AC/DC, you know, it might be a little true, because I think the chorus, I could see that being sung by, you know, Bon Scott. It just was like, yeah, that could be an AC/DC song if you put it, you know, had Angus playing and him singing. But yeah, but it still works. I mean, it still has some Kiss, you know, feel to it, but you know, not as much. That's why it's on the lower end.
Yep, and those were the two clear least favorites, because after that everything tightens up quite a bit.
Yeah.
You know, in sixth place, Smoke and Mirrors. You know, 11 points between all of our votes. You know, and that's solid. You know, that song really started up high. It's the third song on the album. And for me, it kept getting bumped down the list by other songs, which, you know, was really kind of unfortunate, because it's spacey, playful, fun, and, of course, that's AC, not Kevin Spacey. Nice guitar tone, the drums sound great, and the vocal nuances in this one were just so aceified that, you know, I just dug it completely. So, Mark, your take on Smoke and Mirrors.
Yeah, the minute I heard this song, you knew right away it was going to be an Ace song. As soon as you heard that kind of flanger phaser on that riff down, when it came out, I was like, this is the Ace song. And right away, too, with that opening part, that dan, 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 that's right from Save Your Love. That whole beginning of the song is a direct pull of Save Your Love. So I was like, okay. You know,
You're right.
It's exactly it. you know, and the singing fantastic. I love it. Like I said, all the little nuances and stuff are just spot on this. The guitar solo, perfect. The only reason why this one ranked where it did on my list, and I'm just trying to double check it where I had it. I had it exactly in this position, in 6th position. The chorus I found just started getting a little not on my nerves, but it started to grate with me about the smoke and mirror. It's not too like robotic, like too like, and because they didn't really change it up at all, and the chorus happened so many times, it started to get a little like, okay, smoke and mirror, I got it. Yeah, it's like it's not a bad song, you know, but I think they could have did a little bit more with the chorus. That's it. Like if they would have just tweaked the chorus just ever so slightly, and this is my producer hat coming in, then I would have definitely put it up in the top 3, because it's really a strong song. But the other songs I think are just that much stronger in the chorus part of the song.
An Ace Frehley song, Smoke and Mirrors, or style song, Smoke and Mirrors. Talk about innuendo and tongue-in-cheekness. I mean, that's just awesome 70s tongue-in-cheek. Ken?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, that opening riff, he's just like, no, right away, it's Ace. It's just Ace written all over it. And that was a good pull, Mark, on the Save Your Love. I agree with that. You know, I said, oh, yeah, it's kind of like that beginning. And the vocals on it, man, I would have think if I had never heard it and didn't know, you know, the song before, someone played it for me, I said, hey, that's an Ace song.
Yeah.
You know, where'd you find that? You know, because that's how good the vocals are on it. But yeah, I do agree with the chorus is the probably the you know, lowest or you know, less polished part of the song. It could have been maybe a little bit more, but you know, I can see what they're doing there. Maybe could be intentional. You know, Ace has done that too. You know, talk to me, talk to me, talk to me, or you know, save your love over. So you know, but it's even probably more simplistic than those songs. But otherwise, yeah, it's pretty good. It feels like an Ace tune, a Kiss Ace tune that was, you know, left on the cutting room floor.
Yeah, so a chorus that gets a bit too repetitious. That's ironic in some ways, but
I know.
Mark mentioned at the beginning some of the elements that help make a successful, you know, kind of Kiss copy song. Is the nuance, the vocal nuances on this one really sell it for me. And again, the observation about Save Your Love, yeah, it's one of my favorite Ace songs, so not surprising in that sense. Moving into 5th place, this one was pretty obvious what style it was going to take. Fever Dream on 14 points. It's also tied with the next one, but just ended up in this order. So, Ken, let's go back to you on that.
Oops.
Yep,
Mute.
there you go.
Yeah, this is one of my higher ranked songs. I really enjoy it. It is a lot like, I guess, you know, definitely Gene's style of writing. For instance, I know it has a feel of Love 'Em and Leave 'Em in it, and some other things. Maybe something from the solo album. I don't know, Radioactive maybe. But yeah, it has all the Gene-isms in it, and the vocals. And you know, it's just a cool little song, Fever Dream. I mean, it makes you, oh yeah, burning up with fever. Also, you know, it has a little bit of everything, but it has all the vocal style of Gene when he does his little, you know, he says hot or what, you know, some of those things he does during the songs is really cool, and it's another song that kind of, it's like, oh, this maybe we would have been on Gene Simmons' Vault, you know, something like that. It would have heard like,
you never know, if you gave it to Gene, he might have thought it was him.
He probably thought he wrote it, and he'd want he'd want royalties from it. But yeah, I thought it's a pretty good song. I think I had number, I want to say 3 on mine, or no, 2 on mine. I liked it that much.
That's not surprising.
Yeah, you know, Gene guy.
Yep. Mm-hmm. Mark, how about you? What did you think of it?
I I didn't think it was that bad as a song at all either. I mean, where did I have it? I had it like in fourth place. To me, it reminded me of like Solo Gene meets Love Gun Gene. It was almost like a Burning Up with Fever meets Almost Human. That's exactly what I kind of thought of when I heard it. It kind of had like those kind of little, parts in it that reminded me of that some of the singing style that he did. And as soon as you see Fever in the title, it's like I just right away in my head I'm like Burning Up with Fever. I just right away thought of that, even though he didn't sing it like that. But it's just these little things that are just appearing where you just right away put a connection to Kiss in it. And I think it's good. He does, again, he does those little things that Gene always does in his singing, those little accentuations of certain words and stuff like that. The bass playing is very Gene in this as well. Excuse me. And it has those kind of, single note grooves that Gene likes to do in there. He either does very simple chord progressions like da-na-na-na-na-na, da-na-na-na-na-na. That's always kind of Gene. And if that's not it, then he does like those kind of like single note things. That's very Gene as well, where he plays it on guitar and doubles it on bass. So whenever you hear that stuff, you can think right away, okay, this is going to be a Gene song in there. And if he does like that, oh yeah, like all that kind of stuff, then it's Gene. All right. So it's good. I mean, and lyrical, the topic was very much a Gene thing too, So it hits all those sweet spots for a Gene fan.
Okay, so this is my second from bottom song, and I just think it hits a little too close to some Gene demos to be original. It, obviously Fever, Burning Up a Fever, Dream, See You in Your Dreams. I like the cowbell at the beginning, but you just know what it's going to be from the title, and again. I found the originality on this one a little bit too, well, the imitation was contrived, and the enunciation of hot was just straight out of Stewie and Family Guy. The whoa, how he pronounces certain words. Whip. So I was just kind of giggling seeing Stewie in the demon costume singing that. So sorry guys, nice try, but 2 out of 3 ain't bad, right? Moving on rapidly. Living Fantasy in fourth place, also on 14 points. So I guess I must have favored someone by putting that ahead. I'll go first on this one. I think this is another very strong song and performance. And it makes the previous song, which we haven't talked about yet, an excellent 1-2 punch on the album. The drums totally shine on this one, along with it's a perfect riff. Great vocal, and it's recorded in the key of fun. What better key? I think only Dave Grohl came up with the key of L. L sharp. I could do without the kind of breakdown section, which I think borrows a little bit too much from Angel, late 70s Angel, during the end of that refrain. But I love this one. Mark, what about you?
Yeah, I mean, again, this is another cool song. I mean, again, when you see the title, Living Fantasy, you think right away, oh, we got a Paul one coming up now, right? So, and it has those kind of, Paul-ish kind of writing bits in there, that kind of really cool melodic chorus in there, and his kind of writing in the verses are it's just whenever you hear him sing a song, you expect certain things, and this song has those things in spades again. I mean, I think that the songs that I have in my upper 3 are just songs that I find that just resonated with me the most and just kept going in my head, even when I was out of my car in my house, and these songs are just going through my head all the time. And those ones I think are the ones that are the most Kiss-like, and they, I would never be surprised if Kiss actually would hear these and go, wow, we should have did something like this, because it's that good. The next 3 that we're going to be talking about, but this one is very strong too. But again, there's some parts of it that I think are better than others in there, but it's still a pretty strong song.
Nice. Ken, your thoughts on it?
Yeah, I mean, the first thought for me was, I mean, the opening riff makes me think of "It's All Right" from Paul's solo album, the first song on the. I mean, it's very close to that song, and a lot of the writing of that song, it's very similar. Also, a little bit of like "Tomorrow and Tonight" thrown in and some other stuff, but yeah, it's a good song. Sounds definitely like a song Paul would write, for sure. And the vocals are really good on it. Trying to be like Paul, pretty good job. So yeah, I'm with you guys. It's a pretty good song.
All right, moving into third place. And we'll call this one the last of the rest of the pack, because there's a clear difference between all the songs and the top two in terms of where they place for us. On 16 points, Rock and Roll Over. Ken, straight back to you on that.
You're muted.
Why am I muting? Okay. Rock and Roll Over. Yeah, it sounds like a song. Listen to that. I saw it like, oh, yeah, I could see this. If Kiss had put out Rock and Roll Over and named the title of the album after this song. And you know what? A lot of this song really sounds like things off of Rock and Roll Over. It just has that vibe and that sound, and it works. The chorus is pretty cool. I mean, for what it is, it's like how they came up with it. I'm surprised that it came out that good. It's like, oh, let's make a song called Rock and Roll Over, and it actually works. And the guitar solo sounds like it pulled Ace's stuff from multiple solos, kind of similar in that sense. So it's a really cool rock and roll song, and I'm surprised thinking about it. It's like Kiss should have written a rock song called Rock and Roll Over, but they didn't.
Yeah, I get echoes of Rock and Rolls Royce on this one.
Oh, okay, yeah, I can see that a little bit.
Magna Carta demos pre-Destroyer, but also heavily recycled for Rock and Roll Over. Very decent. Another really good guitar solo, and that's as far as my notes went with that. I didn't think I was going to like it because the title didn't appeal to me as a song. I just can't see singing Rock and Roll Over as a lyric and it making any sense whatsoever. But they did. They did a really good song there. Mark?
I really like this song. This is one of the ones that stuck in my head, like from the very first time I heard that kind of reverse echo thing with the rock and roll over. When they come into it like that, I was like, wow, what the hell is this? And right away when I listened to it, I was like, something about this song is bothering me. What is it bothering? What is it making me think of? And then it right away dawned on me because I started doing the drum beat on my leg while I was listening to it. I go, wait a minute, that drum beat is a direct rip off or a lift, if you would, of Rock and Roll Night Party Every Day. That's the exact drum beat. Do, 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 do. That's in there, Rock and Roll Over. It's the same beat. And that's what I was saying earlier, how they kind of just took a part, said, okay, play Rock and Roll All Night on drums, and I'm going to play these chords over it instead. And that's exactly what I think they did with this song, because it sounds like they wanted to close with a Rock and Roll All Night type song like they did on Dress to Kill. I think that's it. That was their plan. I would be shocked if it wasn't, And I think that lyrically, the chorus is very simple. Keep it simple, stupid, Kiss. And it worked perfectly for that. I mean, while Smoke and Mirrors is very simple, but this has so much more melody going on in the chorus vocally, and there's some good harmonies in there too. And the parts are very to the point. Like the verse into the chorus, it's like in and out. Like before you know what you're into the chorus, you're back into the verse, you're back into the chorus, and it just leaves you kind of almost winded because it's like, wow, it went by so quickly, but it was so good. I could listen to that song like 3-4 times in a row. I thought it was good.
That's high praise. I think there's going to be some high praise for these last two. In second place on 21 points, Show Me Your Love, which is the first song on the album.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Mark, back to you.
This when I heard it the first time, like, this is either going to be a tribute to I Want You, or it's going to be a tribute to Paul's solo record there. What's the opener called again?
Tonight You Belong to Me.
Yeah. That's the first thing that came into my head when I heard that. Like, this is supposed to be something in tribute to that, because that sort of vocal thing and that kind of clean guitar bit that plays underneath it, that's either, I Want You, same kind of idea, and Tonight You Belong to Me, same thing. That's a very Paul thing to do in that song, and I think it's a great song. I think that it's what am I looking for? What's the word I'm looking for here? It's so close to being a Paul song. It's like when you were saying earlier, like with the Gene one, where the Ace one, if you would have said it was an Ace song, you would have believed it. I mean, in parts of this song, I would have believed that it was a Paul demo as well. It was that close in certain aspects.
Nice. That's a very high praise. Ken?
Yeah, I see where Mark's going with the I Want You, but to me, it felt like, well, first of all, it did feel like Tonight You Belong to Me a little bit the first time I listened to it. Then I listened the second time, I heard it again, I'm like, wait a minute, this sounds like a Night Ranger beginning. It does. Listen to it again. Listen to the beginning and think Night Ranger. Okay, there's some stuff sounds just like that. Anyway, but then when it kicks in, it sounds like I Stole Your Love. Like I Stole Your Love Part 2 with the riffing and everything, and that's what I get out of that, out of the song. You got I Want You. I got I Stole Your Love. I mean, they're both good riffing songs. So. But yeah, I think it's a really cool song. It's my favorite on my list, and it was the first song, which usually the first song is usually some of the best on when you're going to put a CD or album out. But yeah, it's good. It does sound. I agree with Mark. It does sound a lot like a Paul song, that a real Paul song that he would have written. Definitely sounds like it. It's really, really good.
There's a topic for a future episode. Kiss albums with the worst opening track.
That'd be good.
Yeah.
That'd be tough.
That'd be a real positive episode. Yeah, so I really like the intro, but then again, the first time I ever heard Paul's solo album, how that one starts off, it gave me a similar sort of shiver. I just like that acoustic lead in, or that guitar kind of playing, kind of sparkly. Great guitar solo on the song as well. And I think most importantly, and it goes for all music, and particularly Kiss music, it's catchy, head-bopping chorus. The importance of a head-bopping chorus, one that you suddenly find yourself just kind of nodding your head along to the beat, makes it a winner, and I was doing that. My only criticism of the song, and again, I ranked it number 2 on my list, were the drums. The drums sound better on some of the other songs to me, and they were like a little bit wet pancake on this one to my ears. So fantastic song, great intro, but let's move on to the winner. Clear winner. What you gonna do? Well, actually not a clear winner, it only nudged by a single point. Mark, why don't you start us on what you're gonna do?
Well, this one reminded me a lot of certain Gene songs, like on the side 4 of Alive.
Larger Than Life.
Yeah, right away that riff came jumping out on me, and even that pre-chorus is very interesting. Like I've heard that a million times in Kiss songs as well. There's a lot of the strong parts in Kiss songs are present in this one. But the one thing I find about this song that made me smile is more than the other songs on here, it had a certain vibe to it that when I heard it, I immediately started seeing scenes from Kiss Meets the Phantom of the Park. It just reminded me of something that was from that era, and I could just see the roller coaster bits, and stuff like that. Yeah, I could see parts of that movie while this was playing. It just had that kind of feel to it, like it almost belonged in that kind of era, hence 78, right? 1978, that kind of feel to it. I mean, this ending up being the winner, I have no problem with, because like I said, the first 4 songs on this album are incredibly strong on this record, and I think
I hope not. It was your top pick too.
Well, yeah, I'm just saying that any one of them could have been, in there. It's such a great song, and I'm really glad that it came across that way. Like that whole, the thing about a good song, I find, is the vibe that it gives you. And if you can see things in your mind when you hear it playing, that's when I think it really connects with you. And like I said, at the minute I heard this, I was like, Kiss meets the Phantom of the Park is the first thing that entered my head when I heard this song. And it's a great song. I really like this song. I only have one gripe about this record, and I'll save it for the end when we talk at the end.
All right, so Mark and I have it as our favorite. The other guy doesn't. Tell us why you don't.
Would I make it my second or my third?
It's in your top. It's in your top 8.
I think it's, yeah. Actually, what did I do? What did?
You did. I'll tell you in a second.
It was third. It was third.
Yeah,
so
third.
It was right up there. So yeah, that beginning riff. Yes, it sounds like a little bit. The little riff and with a little, space, and then another riff. It's that larger than life type thing, style at the beginning. But you know what? This sounds like a song that Ace and Gene wrote together to me. That's how it sounds to me. You get the part in the song too where it has this descending going on, which is like the from Dynasty. What is it? Hard Times, where he does that. There's that descending riffing going on in part of the song, the middle, like a bridge or whatever, and that's in the song too. It's like, oh, this is kind of like an Ace and a Gene song, and it's kind of combined as if they wrote together. And did they ever write together?
I don't think so.
Only
technically, Cold Gin apparently
on Ace's solo stuff.
Yeah.
But otherwise, yeah, it's really cool song, and a good chorus. So yeah, it's a neat song, and very catchy too.
Yeah, that's my word. Really good, catchy as hell, great writing and execution, where all the elements shine. Clear winner for me. Let's wrap up, with our overall and final thoughts on this, and then we'll get a couple of random topics from the weekend. Mark, that you have first shot at.
Yeah. So my only gripe with this album is there was no Peter Criss song. I really thought there would be a song where they had a Peter vocal on there, because I'm pretty sure, unless my memory is cheating me a bit here, but I'm pretty sure there was one on side 1 or side 2 of the other ones. So I would have thought that they would have maybe did one in there, not like a Beth or anything, but like more like a Baby Driver type song or something like that for him, right? And other than that, I think this is a great record. I'll go as far as to say that when they were hyping Sonic Boom and saying that they're going back to the 70s and doing a 70s type record, this is the record that they should have released for Sonic Boom. This would have been what I thought of.
Nice, Ken.
It's pretty good. Sonic Boo and Sonic Boom. Anyway, I like it. I think if it's a fun, again, like I said earlier at the beginning, it's a fun listen, and if you like to listen to that Kiss kind of stuff and 70s, Kiss riffing and the Kissisms and stuff that's going on in it, it's interesting at the same time to perk your ears. You hear something, they're like, oh yeah, that's fun. That's a little like this or that, but it's just fun. And if you buy maybe tribute albums by Kiss, or if you're into anything like that, if you love that stuff, it's similar to Kiss, then you'd probably want to get it. Just because it's a good listen, and it's, like I said, fun.
Yeah, they got themselves a pretty good drummer for this project, Charlie.
Yeah.
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 Charlie Benante. Yeah.
Yeah. So my final thoughts is it's super fun. And if you just want to listen to something new, something different, some songs you haven't heard before, give it a shot. It's available on Amazon digitally, or the iTunes Store, not Apple Music. And also, go over to Klassic78.com and you'll find all the links to where it's available. CD available online now, worldwide, only at Newbury Comics. And Newbury Comics does a lot of signed stuff. I've had copies of Destroyer and Ace's albums from them, and they do great packaging, fast delivery, really good service from them, so you can feel confident ordering it for them, or just drop a dime on the digital. It really is a good job. The attention that's gone into the packaging, fantastic artwork by Claudio Bergamin, incredible artist. He did Judas Priest's Firepower cover, which I've got a beautiful print of on my wall. And he's done quite a few other things. He did this great graphic for Richie Faulkner as well. Very, very talented guy. So, it's been put together with a lot of attention to detail. So Klassic78.com, and thank you guys for, some music to listen to. I enjoyed, giving it a bunch of listens since getting it, and I hope it does well for you, because it certainly deserves to, in my opinion. So. Yeah. Let's jump into a couple of bits and pieces from the news over the week, and let's start with the Creatures Fest, the tank reveal. I don't think a lot of people saw a tank of that stature coming. I just hope they measured the venue's doors before building that sucker, because it is big. Ken,
I heard about it, but I haven't seen the picture of it.
They have a video of it. I'll throw in a picture here that I took from their reveal video, but it's absolutely fantastic. So that they're doing everything they can to put on a great event, and I think there's very few people left to invite to be guests at this thing. So the tank is real. It's not a Tonka toy. It's
how's it compared to the original tank?
It looks about the same size, to be perfectly honest, and it looks like they've the guy who
scaled it down to whatever the stage is going to be.
It's probably scaled down a little bit. I don't have a tape measure, but the guy who does it knows what he's doing. They've even built the treads, which don't work for me, but because those were part of the stage originally. They did have a step up to them, but because they extended out of the wings of the stage, on that scale in 83. 82, 83, it made more sense and worked better. But in terms of what they're doing now to give the appearance, perfectly fine. How it looks on the night will all be a matter of stage magic.
Interesting to see it in action.
Bit of fog, some good lighting, and some posing. And they were showing it with flames. Obviously, they won't be able to do that in a hotel ballroom. But you know what?
Oh yeah.
Again, just no Spinal Tap moments of not being able to get it into the venue. That's the only thing. Mark, did you see it?
Actually, no, I didn't see it either. I mean, it's funny that I remember seeing in the notes here that you were going to talk about it, and I was like, the tank thing. Where the hell? I tried to see where I could find it, but I don't think I got around to checking it out yet. But by the sounds of it, it sounds like it's going to be impressive, and I will definitely check it out after we're done here. But I think that these guys are trying to make this a total success, and I think the reason why they're going so far for this is, I think, mainly because they want to make sure that if something goes wrong in this, i.e. somebody doesn't show up, then nobody will be as sour grapes about it, because look at all this other stuff that's there. You got a tank, you got this and this, you have all these other people showing up. What's there to be bitter about if one person doesn't show up? But so far it seems like it's going to be all systems go. You see how I did there?
No.
And so yeah.
Sneaky.
So hopefully it runs without a hitch, and I will check out that thing though, because I think it's interesting that by the sound of what Julian said, them bringing in a sort of real tank is pretty impressive.
Well,
real
tank. One, but a real good looking one.
Real military tank.
There you go. Yeah, so they have their own Facebook site. You can find it. There's Google, but that picture I did show should be enough for most people to get an idea of it, and just imagine it without flames in that venue. All right, Buenos Aires. Band's back on the road. Clearly, same set list, different cities. I'm going first on Buenos Aires. The web stream was absolutely fucking fantastic. It was everything that Dubai wasn't. It was crazy South American fans going muy loco. Oh my God, that makes a whole difference to a Kiss show when you've got X thousand screaming maniacs, you know, the animals up front, the animals on the side, the animals in the back. You know, the performance is what it is. The show is scaled down a little bit in terms of pyro. 11 pods, if I counted correctly, so same number as reasonable. But the band, you can tell that they're more engaged, they're more interactive when they've got a crowd. I'm going to say this. Fuck Dubai. Put this out as the commemorative from the tour. Because there's an English guy singing the praises of Argentina. Those fans brought it. And if it's still up on YouTube and you haven't seen it, see it. It's getting pulled by Argentinian Telecom. You know, many streams have disappeared. They do keep coming back up. Don't buy it on DVD from some bootlegger. Mark, while you continue to hold that, I'll go to Ken. Ken, Buenos Aires web stream thoughts?
Yeah, I thought it was. I mean, I thoroughly enjoyed this. I mean, like you said, the audience is part of that whole show. They become part of the show. Where, you know, Dubai, there was no audience, and it seemed dead there, so dead there compared to watching this. And you know, what's so great is, man, those fans are definitely Kiss fans. They're not casual fans. These people, they know the riffs. They sing the riffs of the songs. To many of the songs, they know all the riffs, and they're singing them along with when they play the riff. I mean, it's just fantastic. It's like, these are real, true Kiss fans. And, yeah, their interaction with the band seemed more, like you said, engaged. It's the same old Kiss show, sure, with the same set list and so on, and same effects, but yeah, there's some kind of different energy, and because sometimes I won't watch the whole thing, you know, through, but I was there, I watched, I didn't skip, I just watched it whole through. I mean, it was just fun, you know, really, really. I mean, I don't know, and like you said, you know, screw Dubai or whatever. You know, I keep it a little bit, you know, my language is not as bad there. But anyway, but you know, they should put this into a video. You know, give this to the people who purchased a Dubai package, and give them this as a video instead. You know, produce that and send it out.
Yeah. No, I again, you know, Dubai is such a debacle at this point.
Debacle.
Yeah, it gets Ken screaming Dubai every time you trigger it. Okay, Mark, your thoughts on it?
Yeah, I think it was really, really good. I mean, it was nice to see a concert of that scale again. You know, you always hear stories or you see things about, you know, Rio and stuff like that from '82 and stuff like that. And then there was some footage before, I think, on Sonic Boom when you bought the CD one. There was a DVD of some stuff from Argentina there as well, and that was a pretty decent crowd as well for that. You know, South America has always had an extremely strong music scene, whether it's for rock music or whether it's for, you know, metal music or whatever. They're just very loyal musical people out there, and I have always been impressed with that. One of my dreams before I die as a musician is to be able to play in South America at least once, and to get my albums out into South America at least once, because I think that it's there are a group of people that appreciate music far more than some North Americans, and I might get a little bit of hate for that, but I think it's true. And I think that one of the things that made this concert really interesting for me, and why I enjoyed it so much, or why I think I enjoyed it so much is the fact that I totally forgot about all the little quirks that people complain about Kiss shows. Like, I didn't for 1 second try to over analyze it and say, is he lip syncing on this? Or I didn't even give a shit about any of that. I just watched it, enjoyed it for what it was. And I think it's because of the audience. I think because of the energy that was in this show. You know, I think that it was one of the better shows that's available to watch of Kiss, especially in this era.
Yeah, I don't know if I'd want to be in an audience like that. I mean, there was basically a mosh pit going. There was basically a mosh pit at a Kiss
really
concert, and everyone else was pogoing the whole time, singing. And Paul is like, he's like, we came here to sing to you, you know.
They're singing to the band.
Yeah. So, you know, he screeched his way through some songs, and it didn't matter a damn because the audience. This was a new show for them. You know, I've seen how many end of the road shows, quite a few at this point, you know, and there have been some very good audiences. That one in Oakland with UCAN up front row was a fantastic audience around us. It was crazy. We had a guy next to us who was just going nuts singing the whole time, and, you know, it was infectious. And I was, you know, going out of my head enjoying it as well. But, you know, New York City were a bunch of stiffs at Madison Square Garden. I've been to Gene in Edmonton. They basically needed a mortician to go around to check for pulses. You know, this audience, it was something else. All right, let's end on Gene Simmons' happy birthday wishes to Ace Frehley, who, of course, celebrated his 71st birthday this week. Happy birthday, Ace. Real card. So, Gene, I have to read this through the board because I'm still blocked by Mr. Simmons on Twitter for some odd reason. He wishes Ace a happy birthday and many more. The invitations still stand. Jump up on stage with us for encores. The fans would love it. Yes, the fans would love it, but would you film it and sell it and not give Ace a cut is kind of the point. Ken, back to you on that.
Yeah, well, I saw that and I thought, well, yeah. I mean, I guess if the price is right, I think Ace would do it. You know, they pay for his hotel and all that kind of stuff, and give him a good, a good chunk of money to play those last two songs on the encore. You know, and then the other thing is Ace he doesn't want to be up there playing with Tommy, who's in his designed makeup. I think that's a big part of the problem. I mean, do you have Ace come out in makeup and gear for the last two songs and Tommy doesn't play on stage? I don't think Paul's going to go for that. So, and then I mentioned on the forum, if you throw Ace up there, this guy comes on stage in street clothes with the guitar, you know, some casual fan in the audience feels like, you know, who the hell's that? Who the hell's this guy, you know, on stage with Kiss? So I don't know how that would work anyway. I think most of it's down to money and respect.
Well, money and politics. The root of all evil.
A little, politics too. Yeah, Kiss politics.
You can't tell Tommy to get off the stage while Ace plays, you know, two songs with Kiss. You know, two spacemen on stage didn't work out well in Kiss Meets the Phantom. And we don't need a Phantom of the Park death match between two spacemen with rocket firing guitars.
That'd be exciting.
Or maybe we do guitar
shoot
duels.
Rockets at each other out of their guitars. That sounds fun.
The winner gets to play the encores, right? Mark, what are your thoughts on it?
I think that again it's wishful thinking, but I'm gonna give Gene credit on this. This was very smart on his part, because now technically he leaves the ball in Ace's court. He can now say, well, I invited him. The invite is there. He can come up and say, if he doesn't show up now, don't blame us. We gave him the invite. Now, if he doesn't show up, it's all Ace's fault now. Not I think it's genius on his part to do it, because he's not going to go for all the reasons that you just talked about, and probably other ones. Ace is going to be saying, if I'm going, I'm playing the whole show, not just 2 songs. It's going to be Ace's ego a little bit in play there too, right? And Paul and them are not going to want him to play a whole show. There's no fucking way. So I think it's a well played card by Mr. Simmons, and he doesn't do very many of these kind of good plays. But before we close the show, I wanted to mention one thing. There is another tribute album that's out that I just stumbled upon, and I believe it's relatively new. I think it's called "Kiss My Chilean Ass," and it's a really cool sort of tribute act from all bands that are from Chile. They did Almost Human, Sure Know Something, I Was Made for Loving You, Making Love, Creatures of the Night, Strutter, Shock Me, Killer, The Oath, King of the Mountain, War Machine, and Black Diamond. Now, I have on here, just really quickly, just if you humor me, I don't know if that's the cover or not, but that's the kind of graphic that they have for it. It's almost like a unmasked kind of cover for it.
Kind of,
right? Nice.
And it's interesting because they're doing 70s songs, like a lot of them are 70s songs, but they're not doing them in 70s kind of sounds. Like some of them sound much heavier. One of them sounds like it could be almost like Motorhead doing a cover of a Kiss song. Wow. Like, so it's not heavy. So I haven't gotten through all of it yet, but if you're looking for another take on Kiss songs, this might be something for you guys to check out. So I thought it might be a good idea to bring it up.
Very cool. Thank you. Always do. You guys see something that I even learned something new on the KissFAQ today, which is, I can't even remember what it was now, but
you forgot.
Wow.
Oh yeah. Someone mentioned the Dragonfly cover from the History book, which was prototype artwork, and someone else chimed in that Bruce Kulick had apparently been asked about it, and it was supposed to be used on a compilation of songs from the solo albums, Four Wings, Dragonfly. I was like, whoa, that suddenly makes sense, so, because obviously Best of Solo albums wasn't issued in the United States or in quite a few markets other than phonogram territories in 1980. So very, very interesting to me. So there we are. That's Klassic 78. That's our review of their Phantom CD. Do check it out. Klassic78.com. And check out the Chilean one that Mark has mentioned as well. And the other topics, I think Gene inviting Ace again is just a politician's thing. It's like saying, read my lips, no new taxes. It doesn't do any harm to say, and it may not be something he intends to honor, but it certainly sounds nice on Ace's birthday rather than regurgitating the stuff that we usually bitch about him regurgitating about Ace or Peter. So from that point, it's very positive. It's all good. Maybe they could be a happy family after all. All right, that's it for this week. Thank you for staying with us, and we look forward to your points and of contention on wherever you listen to this episode, and we shall see you next time. So from Ken and Mark and myself, bye for now. All right, Kiss Army. Welcome to the KissFAQ Podcast. Thank you for giving us your time today and letting us into your head. I hope we don't do any damage. This is a Kiss-related podcast by the board, for the board. We hope that you enjoy.